All right, let's take a look at how to create knurling details on a mesh. I'm going to create a sphere, and I'll set a subdivisions axis to maybe something higher than 20. Let's set it to, let's say, 30. We're going to assume that we're going to bake this into a low poly model for real-time rendering, as in a game model. So let's say this is the piece, a piece of metal that has knurling on it. I'm going to start by defining the top and bottom of where I want the knurling to be. Maybe I have reference, maybe I do not. Let's say I want the top of the knurling to be here, and maybe the bottom here. Then I'll select all of these faces, and I'll go to Edit Mesh, Duplicate. Now I have a separate piece like this. I can hit Control 1 to isolate it. If I go to Mesh Tools and click on the option box next to Insert Edge Loop, I can get the Insert Edge Loop tool, and I can say I want equal distance from, or I want multiple edge loops. Sorry, pardon me. And let's try 5, and there, like so. Then I will go to vertex mode and select all vertices and bevel them. I'll change the width to 0.5, which will bring all the corners and make this diamond pattern. I'll select the object in object mode, edit mesh, merge, and that will make sure that the verts that are within this threshold get merged together. So now I know they're all stacked properly. I'll go to let's go back to object mode. Let's go to a front view or side view, doesn't matter. And let's go to face mode. And I want to get rid of all of these faces. So to do that quickly, I can marquee drag over these faces and then hold shift and marquee drag over the entire thing, and it will select the inverse. You can see if I go back here by hitting spacebar, I've got those. I'll delete those. I'll go to vertex mode. Pardon me. I'll go to face mode. Make sure I have all the faces selected. I'll hit Control E to extrude and keep faces together. Let's turn this off. Thickness, let's turn that up a bit, and then offset. Let's offset this in. Remember that if you're offsetting or using these controls like I am and it's too sensitive, you can click on this little icon here. See that circle filling up? And the more full this circle is, that means the more sensitive it is. If there's just a tiny slice of this pie filled, then it will be less sensitive. Additionally, you can hold Control and Shift while clicking and dragging on this word to make it even less sensitive and have more control. Okay, so we can bring this in like so. And then if we wanted to, we could, let's go ahead and select this entire object, mesh display, harden edge, like this. Then let's bevel this again. I'm going to turn on this wireframe unshaded and oops. I'm going to control this fraction a little bit, and I can loosen up or tighten this fraction. Let's see, let's try, maybe 0.25 for me. These numbers will be dependent on your grid settings. My intention, again, is to bake this detail onto a low poly, so I'm not overly concerned about n-gons at the moment. If I was, then I would need to add another segment here, and that could fix it. Okay. I'll turn this back off. Control 1. Then I'm going to take this and I'm going to go to hit R. Let's center the pivot by clicking on this icon here. And I'm just going to bury this into the mesh where the knurling is going, right? I'll click off, and as you can see, we have some some knurling now. Now, depending on what type of knurling you have, knurling has different types of patterns, the way it was cut and marked. All you really need to do is either, if it's smaller, if you have more, then you would need to add more subdivisions, more edge loops, right, when you're doing the insert edge loop tool. So maybe instead of 5, you could go 8 or 9 or whatever. And that would give us more. And then if you have like a hollow center or it's peaked, then you can just you can just continue doing extrusions when you have all the faces selected, right? All right, so if you are going to bake this onto a low poly, then, on this piece, I no longer need these edges. I can select them, hold control, and hit delete. That way I make sure I get rid of the verts that are attached to them. And then I'd want to hit Control G, or not that. I want to select both of these and go to Mesh, Combine. Now it's one piece, and then you would name this piece whatever, right? Here's the old group, which I can just get rid of in the outliner. I'm going to delete my history first. Edit, delete all by type history. There we go. I got rid of it. All right. So that's a quick way to do knurling. Bye.